Hebrews, Hebrews. This is our Prophets of Awakening. It's our evening Shabbat class. We're closing out the Sabbath, 26th of November 2022. I'll be doing a comparison and contrast with Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26. Okay. In the meantime, I'm asking everybody to go to our YouTube channel, Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. There's a lot of information given, and the videos will connect dots for you and bring you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And by the Holy Scriptures, I mean the Tanakh, the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance. And if you like what you are hearing and receiving on the channel, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It will be appreciated. And for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses on Mount Sinai by our Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts. Shalom and welcome to Prophets of Awakening, and welcome to our welcome to our evening Shabbat class. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, evening Sabbath prayer, Psalms, and current events. Then we go to a little need to know information and some Q&A. Then we'll pick up the topic. Okay. This moment of silence is for the Creator, Yahweh, and His Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts, and all that they're doing to bring about Israel's regathering and return to their land from the home of their captivity. I pray unto the Lord my God that we make our confessions, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love thee and to them that keep thy commandments. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of face as it is this day, to the men of Judah and unto the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven us, because of our trespass that we have trespassed against thee. As it is written in the laws of Moses, all this evil has come upon us in the land of our captivity, here in the Americas, in the Caribbean, Great Britain, and Africa. O Lord, according to thy righteousness, I beseech thee, let thine anger and thy fury be turned away from thy city Jerusalem and thy people and thy holy mountain. O Lord, hear this prayer and cause thy face to shine upon thy sanctuary and thy people for your sake. O Lord, open your eyes and incline your ears to hear and behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do. Defer not for thine own sake. O my Lord, for thy people need you so very much at this hour. Peace be on you. Okay. With that being said, we'll read a song. Okay. We'll read Psalms 132. Okay. It's a prayer for the blessings on the sanctuary. Lord, remember David and all his afflictions, how he swore unto the Lord and vowed unto the mighty God of Jacob, surely I will not come into the tabernacle of my house, nor go up into my bed. I will not give sleep to mine eyes, or slumber to my eyelids, until I find out a place for the Lord, a habitation for the mighty God of Jacob. Lo, we heard it in Ephesus, we found it in the fields of the woods. We will go into the tabernacle, we will worship at his footstool. Arise, O Lord, into thy rest, thou and the ark of thy strength. Let thy priests be clothed with righteousness, and let thy saints shout aloud for joy. For thy servant David's sake, turn not away thy face of thine anointed. The Lord hath sworn in truth unto David. He will not turn from it. Of the fruit of thy body will I set upon thy throne. If thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony that I shall teach them, their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore. For the Lord hath chosen Zion. He hath desired it for his habitation. This is my rest. This is my rest forever. Here will I dwell. I have desired it. I will abundantly bless her provisions. I will satisfy her poor with bread. I will also clothe her priests with salvation, and her saints shall shout aloud for joy. There will I make the horn of David the bud. I have ordained a lamp for my anointing. His enemies will I clothe with shame, but upon himself shall his crown flourish. So that was Psalms 132 is a prayer for blessings on the sanctuary. Okay. Anybody have any comments on it? Okay, what's up, Markel? Okay, so nobody have any comments on that. We're gonna move on into our current events.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm going to be talking about a very important subject. This subject is very important to me and so many others. Of course, those who would rather that we just tiptoe on out the door and leave this subject alone. Don't even speak on it. I'm going to be getting into some things. Something was shared with me this morning. I decided to go live on this one instead of merely just speaking about it briefly. Yes, I decided to go live, and it's for good reason. Bear with me one moment here. I think this is an important topic because some things are being said that are simply not true. Some things are being said that are simply not true, and they are not fair. And we'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment. You'll have an opportunity to see what I'm talking about in just a moment. I thank you all for joining us, taking time out of your busy schedule, of course. This is Shabbat, so we are going to be resting today, right? But nonetheless, we are going to be talking about this hot button topic because folk are always talking about what's dangerous to them, but nobody wants to really talk about what's dangerous to us or to other people. Okay. Like I said, give me just a moment here. I want to share this. I would appreciate it if you all would share it as well, because I'm going to be talking about some things that are being tweeted out here. Okay. Like I said, folk want to talk about things that are being tweeted that they consider dangerous to them. But when we start tweeting stuff, you know what I'm saying? Or they start tweeting stuff, should I say? Um, no one wants to talk about the danger that could be to us. You see, it seems like there's this one way thing going on where everybody else has a right to acknowledge things and to say things and ask for protection and talk about anti this or anti them, but we can't talk about anti us, if you know what I mean. Um, I'll get into this in just one moment. Alrighty, so here we go. Here we go. So someone shared this with me this morning, and of course, I am not surprised because we all have seen that you can't even whisper. You can't say anything without someone saying, "Oh, you're anti us." You see what I'm saying? You can't say one word, and the whole world seems to rally behind them when they put these narratives out there, right? But then there are some people who are waking up to the truth, saying, "Look, just tell me the truth. I want to know the truth." Okay, I don't want to hear your fairy tale. Apparently, was a tweet, and I'm going to share that tweet with you. And the tweet, as a matter of fact, let me go to it now. One moment. Like I said, folk are talking about what we are tweeting, what our people are tweeting, like it's so terrible. But this right here can be, in my opinion, potentially dangerous for so called Black people. So check out this tweet here. They are saying Black Hebrew Israelites chanting, "We are the real Jews," is a troubling anti Semitic trope with dangerous potential. And then they say, "We cannot allow this supremacist ideology to spread and gain greater acceptance." So let me go over this again and let me chop it up for you and break it down and unpack it. So they say Black Hebrew Israelites chanting, "We are the real Jews," is a troubling anti Semitic trope with dangerous potential. And then they say, "We cannot allow this supremacist ideology to spread and gain greater acceptance." So let me get this straight. Let me just break this down for y'all. I'm going to say it loud enough for the people in the back. Loud enough for the people in the back. So basically, what they I know some of y'all get a little impatient. They say, "Will you get to the point? Get to the point." I've seen your comments. I'm getting to the point. Just be patient. Okay. Okay. So basically, what they're saying is these people are discovering who they are and they're telling the world who they are. And that's troubling to us because if they start saying who they are, and we know we look different and we are different, then that is potentially exposing the truth. That's really what it breaks down to. That's what it breaks down to, y'all. You're saying that it's dangerous as if the whole world is going to take up arms and try to do something. No, that's not what's happening. I want to read some of the responses to this tweet because there are some people who are just clearly stating what the facts are. They're saying these people have been around for a long time, Black Hebrew Israelites, and not once have they done the things that you're saying in the in the world way that you're trying to say it. And so, to okay, so let me get this straight. So it's not supremacist for you all to have that ideology. Mm, mm, mm. Did y'all catch that?
Okay, any comments on that? Anybody seen that video?
No, but I'm not surprised.
Right. Okay.
Shalom, everybody.
Okay.
I'm not surprised. They're trying to, the ADL has been put it out that the so-called Black Hebrew Israelites were a hate group.
Exactly. Right. Right. They've been preparing for this.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Just like the other part of it I was talking about last couple of days, and I talked about it a little bit this morning, how um, they're trying to say the 10 tribes is African Americans or Negroes, and the Judah, Benjamin, and the Southern Kingdom was white folks, the ones that's over there now in America, the one that's over there now in Israel. And now it's time for Ezekiel 37 to happen for all the tribes to come back together. So they playing along with they seeing that the prophecy is being unfolded and there's really nothing they can do about stopping the information coming out. So now they're trying to case it. Is that something?
And now they're trying to say that birthright inheritance doesn't matter. The bloodline doesn't matter, which doesn't make any sense.
Global economies, namely Brazil.
Saudis are cutting oil production, part of OPEC's decision to end cooperation with Saudi Arabia.
President Biden vowing to punish Saudi Arabia.
Even old friends of the West are ditching it, like Saudi Arabia, and now it wants to be a part of BRICS.
Hi everybody. Saudi Arabia is one of the most powerful countries in the world, and more importantly, it has always been the closest ally to the United States of America. But now, Saudi Arabia is engaged in a cold war with the very same United States. While Saudi decreased oil production by 2 million barrels to worsen the inflation in the US, Biden threatened Saudi Arabia with unspecified consequences and even proposed to pass the NOPEC bill to challenge the security of Saudi Arabia itself. So, in return, the Saudi prince Mohammed bin Salman made a big move that sent jitters down the spine of the United States of America. And this was his request to join India, Russia, and China at the BRICS alliance. On top of that, Putin announced the emergence of a new world currency called the BRICS currency. And this is very beneficial for India, Russia, and China. So, in this case study, let's do a deep dive and try to understand what exactly is this BRICS alliance all about? How will Saudi Arabia's entry into this BRICS alliance change the dynamics of world power itself? What is Putin's idea of the BRICS currency? And most importantly, what are the study materials to help you understand this critical geopolitical situation better? This video is brought to you by Coding Invaders, but more on this at the end of the video. Chalo, let's start from the basics and try to understand what exactly is this BRICS alliance and what is so special about it that Iran, Saudi, and Argentina, all of them are so keen to join it. Well, BRICS is nothing but the acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And just like we have the G7 with Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, and the US, for BRICS, we have the 5 largest emerging economies in the world coming together to form an alliance. And most people underestimate BRICS because it has the emerging economies as compared to developed economies in the G7. But you know what, guys? If you take a pause and look at BRICS closely, you will see that these 5 countries together consist of 41% of the world's population, and their combined GDP is over 24.4 trillion US dollars. On top of that, they also have a substantial military capability and an increasing political influence in the global sphere. And by coming together, this group commands a voice for itself in the global sphere. For example, it helps us voice our concerns of the developing economies every time the West designs policies that are favorable specifically for themselves. And a classic example of the same is the carbon tax.
Carbon must have ground in the United States and the European Union.
Border tax, level the playing field for European products if other countries do not go as far as us or refuse to go in the right direction.
Western countries don't want to see companies packing up for places like China or India because of their less stringent environmental rules, which make the goods produced there cheaper.
Now, you know, guys, the European countries often complain about Indian and Chinese steel industry causing a lot of carbon emissions. So they are now planning to impose a carbon tax because their industries are switching to clean energy. So in 2030, when Indian and Chinese steel enter the international market, our products will be levied a tax specifically because we are emitting more carbon than these developed countries. But this graph exposes their hypocrisy very, very clearly. If you look at this graph, you'll realize that these developed countries have emitted so much carbon during their developing phase that they themselves are largely responsible for climate change. But even then, they forget the past and now they're imposing carbon tax on us when we desperately need economic fuel to grow. Then, just like the Asian Development Bank, we have the New Development Bank. And this is meant to disburse low interest loans for each country's development. In order. Well, this is where we have something called the BRICS currency come in. And according to Putin's announcement, this new currency would act like a basket containing the value of 5 BRICS countries, which are the Chinese renminbi, the Russian ruble, the Indian rupee, the Brazilian real, and the South African rand. This basket would make it semi-decentralized and more stable than the US dollar. And to top it all off, to give the currency even more power and stability, according to experts, this currency could be gold-backed. In simple words, the value of a gold-backed currency is pegged to gold. So tomorrow, if Indian rupee becomes gold-backed, then the value of rupee will be defined such that 1 gram of gold equals 50,000 rupees. What it means is that tomorrow, if you give 50,000 rupees to RBI, they would redeem its value by giving you 1 gram of gold. But with fiat currency, it's not backed by any commodity. So if I pay you 100 rupees, it simply means I promise to pay 100 rupees, and the currency is backed by the faith of the government. And here's how it makes a big difference. So in case of gold-backed currency, if the government has 1 kg of gold and 1 gram of gold is worth 50,000 rupees, then the government can only print 50,000 into 1,000, which is 50 million rupees of currency bills. And if they want to print more, they will first have to buy more gold, keep it in the reserve, and then print money. But with fiat currency, they can simply go on to print money. And this could cause inflation in the economy. So as a trader, I can be more confident about the value of my trade. This is being stated as the reason why the BRICS nation have been buying gold at insane levels. Now, how this BRICS currency is going to emerge and function as an international currency, only Putin can tell. But on the outside, what we need to know is that if the BRICS succeed in designing their own currency, for the first time in half a century, we could again have a currency backed by gold, which on its own would almost instantly make it the most valuable money on earth. And more importantly, if Saudi Arabia joins BRICS, it will not just be gold, but even oil that will lay the foundations for the BRICS currency. So two of the most valuable commodities on the planet will back both this alliance and this currency if things go well. This is the reason why the
Okay. Any comment? Okay, what's up, D-Ray? What's up, Gladys? Okay, so you see what they're doing. They're undermining the dollar. And like they said, they're looking for a nightmare winter. And the reason they're saying that is because of what we're looking at right here. All the things that's happening. Prices up. If you've been to this grocery store lately, you know, stuff is way out of control. Prices so high. So it ain't nothing but a matter of time. Okay. Anybody have any comments on that? Okay. I brought this up a couple times before, but I was gonna use it tonight for my need to know information about a lot of people, when you understand who the Lord of Hosts is in the New Testament, and they ask, is JC really real? Blah blah this, blah blah that, and I tell them that, it's a man came, but he was cesarean. But let me play this.
A biblical conundrum that has baffled scholars for years. Between the ages of 12 and 30, the life of Jesus Christ is unaccounted for. There is no written record. There are no tales told.
Nature abhors a vacuum, and so do many religious folks. And that's why many people have talked about these missing years and have tried to speculate about what Jesus might have done during that time.
In modern times, attempts have been made to fill in the missing years. Wild stories of Jesus traveling to India to study with Eastern mystics, even Jesus appearing in North America.
Any good historian who's worth his salt will go with the earliest and best evidence, not later evidence, not wonky evidence, not evidence that contradicts all our earliest and best sources. You're going to go with your earliest and best evidence, and that happens to be Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
From historical research and recent archaeological work in Galilee in particular, combined with things that we can deduce from the Gospels themselves, we actually know a fair amount.
Bethlehem is where Christ was born, but the Gospels say his family left soon thereafter.
He went and lived in a town called Nazareth. So was fulfilled what was said through the prophets. He will be called a Nazarene.
The area. This was not a happening place. This was a kind of a quiet area in a lot of respects. A lot of farming that was going on, fishing, and
Then in the parallel text in Matthew, they ask, is not this the carpenter's son?
There were not
halls, assembling building.
The language of the region was Aramaic. The Gospels also say Jesus knew how to read, meaning he was educated during the missing years.
Apparently he knows how to read because he goes into the synagogue, according to Luke, and he reads from the scroll of the prophets.
He may not have been just a carpenter either. Because Nazareth was close to the Sea of Galilee, it's possible Jesus went there to fish. If he did, he most likely would have run into a group of fishermen, men who years later would lay down their nets and become his apostles.
At the end, Jesus said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you become."
It's
Yeah, so you notice that when that first started, they said that he got 18 missing years from 12 years old to 30. And then so if you go and do the research according to the timelines, that will take you back to beginning of the Common Era, which was at the same time when Cleopatra, Mark Antony was killed. And Mark Antony, I have videos showing that when Alexander conquered the whole known world at the time, his conquest stopped in India. So he had something like 200,000 Greek people following him wherever he went. And as soon as he would conquer a country, he'd leave some of those people there to rule the Greeks to rule that country. So when he got cut off and died, he was in India, and the people that they was around was Buddhists. So they entangled Greek philosophy with Buddhism, same way they did with the Old Testament later on at Alexandria. But originally they took up Buddhism and they merged it with it. So that's why you got two different types of Buddhism. You got the original Buddhism that was there before they got there. Then you got Mahayana Buddhism, and the original Buddhist is a black man with the little curls in his head, and the other Buddhist is a white dude. Same way they did the same thing to now when they created the New Testament and created JC. So anyway, Cleopatra had a son by Julius Caesar, and Julius Caesar was declared the son of God, and she was already declared a goddess too. So when this boy was born, Caesarion was born, he was the son of God. So when Mark Antony Augustus came to annihilate, his objective was, in order to rule the Roman Empire, he had to get rid of Cleopatra and Mark Antony, but specifically she had to get rid of Cleopatra's son from Julius Caesar because he had Julius Caesar's blood in him. His name was Caesarion. So she took him and hid him up in the monasteries up in the Himalayas mountains. It was a city up there called Alexandria. It was a bunch of Alexandria that Alexander had conquered. That was his objective when he went to conquer the world, was create a bunch of city-states called Alexandria, homosexual cities. So he had created one up in the Himalaya mountains with a monastery there. Cleopatra knew that. So she sent him there. He was 12 years old. And she sent him there. And that's they trying to cover over, they saying what they're saying for a reason, to try to explain why was he so educated. If he was a carpenter's son, why was he so educated? Because he ain't none of no carpenter's son. Cleopatra sent him up to the monastery, and he was raised by those monks in school, and then on the art of healing and all that. And then at 30 years old, he came back to Judea. And he came back to Judea because he had a twin brother and sister that Cleopatra had from Mark Antony. So when he came back at 30 years old, he came back looking for them. But now they was in Judea, in the land of Judea. Okay, so that's, they go them devils again. Yeah. So anyway, so that was that's how you come about that story. That's how you write the divided story. Them 30 missing years is Caesarion when he left, and he came back at 30 years old to get his father's kingdom back, which was Julius Caesar, that they had usurped from him, and then Augustus Caesar killed the boy. intentionally. He killed him because he had to get rid of him in order for him to rule. Okay. Anybody got any comments on that? Okay. Any comments? Anybody heard that before?
Yeah, I heard you say it before.
Right.
I was watching a video that Sister Michelle sent about the Illuminati, and they were saying too that you know, all of that comes back from Horus, and you know, they just keep recycling the stories.
Right. Exactly. Right. It all originated. All the occultism and all that stuff originated in Egypt because that's where those fallen angels came to. They came down. Yeah. So that's where all that went. But when the Greeks got to town, Greeks get there, they incorporated all that. And not only at that time during the end of the third beast, they had access to our records too. So they just like they did with Buddhism, they did the same thing with our records, and they created Christianity. And they also did the same thing with the Egyptian religion. They took the Egyptians worship the sun, which is who Horus was. Horus was the sun. Horus was the personification, the human personification of the sun. But when they all understood that, but when the Greeks came, they took the sun and made an actual man out of it, which was the Christ. Which, like I said, goes back to the Black Madonna and Child. Then from there, they had our records, along with Serapis. That's how they concocted JC at Alexandria, Egypt. And then at the Council of Nicaea, the Constantine. But the original, like all this stuff unfolded, like the guy was saying, it's not one man that you're dealing with. You're dealing with a series of events happen over a long period of time, and it's a group of men, these Edomite think tanks, concocted all this in the process of time. So they took Caesarion, which is the actual person that came, and that's how they came up with JC. So we got half truths in it, like pretty much all of the New Testament got half truths in it, because they only parallels to the truth that's in the Old Testament. You know, like for example, when Herod killed all the boys that was 2 years old. The only reason they got Herod doing that because that's what happened with in the time of Moses. That's what the Pharaoh did with Moses. It didn't happen with Herod. The actual event happened with the Pharaoh and with Moses. But to bring JC to life, they just use those same stories, parallel them. Like you said, typology.
And like you were saying, so the fallen angels had given, like the Illuminati, they had given them these secrets and stuff.
Right, exactly. It goes back to the mystery system that's in Egypt. That's what the mystery system consisted of, knowledge that they had received from those fallen angels. That's why Paul, and you don't hear none of the prophets or the apostles or the seers. I mean the prophets or the seers saying none of that in the Old Testament, but when you get to the New Testament, there's mysteries. All of a sudden, Paul got a mystery. And then you got the mystery of the rapture. All that's because it's coming from the mystery system that's in Egypt. And you don't see none of our forefathers talking about no mysteries, because the Lord of hosts telling them, he said, I don't have nothing to hide from you. When he came to deal with Abraham, he asked Abraham, should I hide this thing from you that I'm doing? And said, I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm not going to hide it from you. I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And before I do that, I stop by here to let you know you're going to have a son. You and Sarah are going to have a son, and you're going to call his name Isaac. And then he went on, but he left and went on to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. So just that story in itself just lets you know what Daniel was talking about in chapter 10 when he said Gabriel was telling Daniel, he says, only me and your prince Michael can look on this scripture of truth. So you have to ask yourself, what is the scripture of truth? It's the book that's in heaven. Gabriel and Michael are the ones looking on it. And when they read the stuff that's going to happen in the future, that's why they see it on the book, and they come down and they tell the prophets. Then the prophet prophesied. That's what a prophecy is. But they gazing on this book that's created, Yahweh created, that he have in heaven, and they looking at it, and they coming down to the earth to warn and to inform the prophets what's getting ready to happen.
So I'm sorry. So when Moses and Pharaoh, when he threw down his staff, when Aaron threw down the staff and the rod, turned into a serpent, and then the other magicians, they were using they was getting their powers from the fallen, angels.
Right, exactly. And then he showed them who had the ultimate power, because of Moses serpent swallowed up both of them.
I always wondered how was they able to do powers too?
Yeah, it's fallen angels. And so I was thinking about that this earlier today, and when and this is the truth, because of when it's laid out. Moses came when he was young. Moses came into the court where the Pharaoh was at, took his crown off his head and put it on his head. And so the whole Egyptian, because they deal with omens and all that type of stuff, so they went bonkers. So they said, all the wise people said that that was a bad omen, that they need to take the boy and smash his head against the wall and kill him. And so they said no. His sister said no. What we're gonna do is well, an angel came in amongst them, disguised. He transformed himself as a regular man, and he gave them ultimatum to bring the boy back in there again and see if you're going to do the same thing. It was a mistake. He said, bring him in there, and they put the Pharaoh's crown on the table, and they put hot coals on the table with it, an onyx stone, and they told him to come in there and said if he picked up the Pharaoh crown again and put on his head, they was going to kill him. So Moses came in there, and he was headed straight for the throne for that crown again, but the angel of the Lord was there and guided him toward the hot coals, and he put them in his mouth. That's why Moses stuttered, and that's why he had to get Aaron to speak for him. But they don't tell you all that. That's why Moses had speech impairment, because of that incident right there. So anyway, so if the angel came in there amongst them and saved Abraham's life, they standing right there when they're throwing these staffs down. You can't see them. It's like when Moses struck the rock. The Lord of hosts was standing there, but you didn't see him. So when Moses struck the rock, he the one made the water come out. He's the power that was there. Even when he told him, stretch forth your staff and hit the water, and the Red Sea divided. He's standing there with Moses. He's telling Moses what to do. You take your staff, and that all the people watching, and put it in the water. And when he put it in the water, the Lord of hosts was standing there to cause it the water to divide. So it was the same thing there. These fallen angels there, and when James and Jambres threw their staff down, and they turned them into snakes. But the Lord was standing there too. When he threw his down, then Moses' serpent swallowed up both of theirs. So when you understand all that, why you think they're going up on these mountains? Like I said, Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, is on the mountain, Mount Zion. That's where he dwelled at. Well, what you think on these other mountains? On Mount Seir, his angels up there. They're not going up there to play pity pat. It's angels up there, and then that's where the high places is. They going up there and they worshiping these angels, sacrificing. He told Abraham to go to make a sacrifice, an animal sacrifice, animals that he had already designed and formed and created just for human sacrifice. But these fallen angels want them to come up on these mountains and sacrifice their kids. So, like I said before, they're not going up there sacrificing their kids just for the hell of it. It's beings up there they're going up there and dealing with. And a lot of people, that ain't registering with a lot of people. That's the gods he telling them about. Don't worship no other god. El, only worship me. So yeah, that's what he's talking about. But like I said this morning with the transgression thing, they got you thinking what transgression is somebody that's sinning. No, it's some wicked ass people that came forth by the serpent sleeping with Eve, Cain's descendants. They transgressors. It's in their DNA to transgress. That's where all the wars and all the drama that's on the planet today is from them people that came forth from the serpent. That eventually he gonna get rid of. And Esau merged with him, ended up intermingling with him, and they became one people. Okay.
And those are the people that's doing all this wickedness today, huh?
Right. The so-called Jews.
The Zionists.
Right. They gave us all these words, and not only the words, they gave us definition to them. And then you got Negroes spewing that. So Jew is not no Judean. A Jew ain't no Judean. A Jew is when Esau and Japhet merged. Edomian. That's what a Jew is. Jew ain't no Judean from the tribe of Israel. That's a lie. And we see them doing it right today. Now they're talking about the 10 tribes is African Negroes, and the children of Jerusalem, Judah, Benjamin, Levi is Caucasians. And anybody to believe that, they got to be slapped crazy.
So it is a fight for the birthright.
Right. That's what it's all about. It's all about that. That's what he keeps telling us over and over again. Seed line. He says in Isaiah 44, I'm going to pour my spirit out on the seed line. Lineage. It's all about lineage. Yeah.
Right, and he's doing that today, and that's just like the video you played, I think, one day last week, where they was talking to the rabbi, and he was saying, he was getting asked some question. He was saying, that's not what I'm here to talk about, because he already know he's not from that. You know what I'm saying? But he's just gonna say, oh, we're not here to talk about that. Oh, it's not about the prophecies. I mean, he was going all the way over to the left.
Right. And we because like I said, we've been duped, and the Most High is sending his people, waking up people, giving you the information, but you're not hearing what they're saying. So the same guy on that video, if you look at the story of Esau and the description they give you when he was born, his picture being there in the dictionary where Esau is.
Right.
He looked just like him. But you sit there trying to tell me that Judah, Benjamin, Levi. When you sitting there with fire red hair, fire red beard, how that add up? They don't add up. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so that brings us to the, our Q&A questions and comments and dialogue. Anybody have any questions about this morning or anything they want to talk about and that they came across?
I have a question.
What you got?
Well, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Israel is supposed to be desolate, right?
Yeah, the land. Yeah.
The land.
Right.
So the Jewish people over there, they're not even in the real land, right?
Right. It's over to the left of there. They call it the Negev Desert. It's desert.
They said it's like the northeastern part.
Yeah, the
North.
the Negev Desert, and that whole region. It's a guy that went over there and he dug up all that area. That's part of Zephaniah chapter. I think it's 3 verse 11 when he says he's going to raise up the David's ruins and build them as in the days of old. Well, that happened probably in 2000 and around 9 or 10. They dug it up and it's sitting there. You know, he can show you all the different things that's in the scriptures that's tied to that place. But it's desolate. There's nobody there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
Yeah, they had the plumbing where you could see the plumbing system around the castle where it went down.
Right.
So, so that, right. So that leads me to my next question then. So I watched that video about the Ethiopians that went over there to Israel, and you know, the women were given the Depo-Vera shot so they couldn't have kids and stuff, right?
Right.
So my thing is, because aren't we supposed to wait until the Lord of Hosts gathers us?
Right. They went and got those people they was Philosopher Jews. They was keeping the original laws from ancient times, and they even had copies of it, but they had them on copper paper, copper where you couldn't change it. So they was trying to confiscate that, and they was trying to get rid of those people because people had found out about them, that they had the ancient laws and they was keeping all that, and it was a witness against who they was. So they had a big old program called Aliyah program or whatever, and brought all of them to Israel. And then now they trying to transform them into Israelis and make them deal with the Tomar and all that.
Right. There was this guy and he was from over there. He was raised over there as, you know, from a baby. And he said that they're trying to kick him out.
Right.
And they're allowing all these other people from Europe to come over there, but they've been waiting for 20 years and they still can't get citizenship. They don't get no help.
Right. That was their objective. Their objective was to get them from where they was at, because of the word that started getting around. You know, they was a witness, like I said, against who they were, because they was actually keeping the ancient laws that go way back, and they didn't want nobody to see that. So they went there and dislocated them and scattered them intentionally. And once they accomplished that, now they don't really want to deal with them.
Wow.
Right. But it's a trick to that too, though, because you got to look at the fact that at one time those Ethiopians was in the land of Israel too. When the Syrian king, you know, the 10 tribes was taken out, he brought other nations in there and put them in the cities of Israel. Ethiopia is one of those nations. That's why they assume. That's why, and they had that Samaria is the Samaritan is the people that was brought there by the Assyrian king Sennacherib to replace the Israelites that he took to Assyria. And so they learned to. Let me read that. Okay, so you go to and that's what a lot of people get mixed up. Like I just said, it's an actual man came with those characteristics. They talking about the Jesus, but it wasn't Jesus. It wasn't no son of God. But they make it stick. They use that situation that happened. It actually happened, you know. But like I said, it was Cleopatra's son, sincerely. So I'm in 2 Kings, right quick, chapter 17, and you can see right here in verse 17 and 23. 22 says, okay, hold on 1 minute. So you see that it says in verse 22, for the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, and they departed from them until and did not depart from them until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants, the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. Being verse 24. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Kukuk and from Ava. That's when you go look up that word, that's Ethiopians. And from Hamath and from Seraphim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was that beginning of their dwelling there, that they feared not the Lord. See, they don't know him, so they don't fear him. He demands fear, right? He demands you respect him. So they ain't know nothing about it. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake unto the king of Assyria, saying, the nation which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. So I'm showing you right here with the proper understanding. You can see now it's angels in different regions that they're dealing with. So he's saying right here, wherefore they spake unto the king of Assyria, saying, the nation which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God, the El of that land. Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests, to that one of the Levites, whom ye brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let them teach them the manner of the God of Israel. So once these Levites came in and taught them, and they picked up the Israelite culture. Now they stayed there for over 1,000 years. Now they think that they actually Israelites, but they was taught by the priests, and then they only existed there for a time. Then they were driven out when the king of the Chaldeans came, and they were all ran out, and then Israel went to captivity in Babylon, the southern kingdom, for 70 years, and came back. And came back and possessed the land. But at one time, not only Ethiopia, but it was other countries that had existed there living as Jews. They had become converts, just like Esau was a convert. The people over there now, their forefathers are converts. But they posing as, they saying they're the real Jews because they've been there so long.
So was that the northern kingdom?
Yeah, that was the northern kingdom, 10 tribes. The so-called, they trying to make you think they lost, but that's the 10 tribes.
Okay.
So their captivity was in, because of their sins and what they was doing against the Lord, he cast them out into Assyria. So they served their punishment, and when the punishment was over with, they came into Africa. They didn't go back to Israel. So they want to make you think they don't know where they at. They came into Africa, where they at today. And the head, which is Judah, Benjamin, Levi, was responsible for the sins of Israel. They the ones were scattered. They were scattered up. Judah, Benjamin, the children of Jerusalem were scattered over the whole world. Not the 10 tribes. They still where they was at when they came out of Assyria. Right.
The leaders. So the leaders,
Right.
the teachers were scattered.
Scattered, yeah. Levites, especially the Levites. The Levites are Benjamin and Judah. They're the head. He said the whole head was sick. So they the ones got scattered. And then when you go back and look at the story of the transatlantic slave trade, when they came to the west coast of Africa, they came up on the nation of Judah, the nation of Benjamin, and the Ashanti. Those are 3 tribes. There was Levites, Judeans, and Benjamites. That was the bulk of the transatlantic slave trade. Okay. Anybody got any more questions or comments about anything? Yeah, I'm gonna play this right here, and then you'll read a little bit out of Deuteronomy 28. Okay.
And this word Ophir, which is a par in ancient Hebrew, which we discovered is in Southeast Africa in Mozambique. Here we can positively prove that in the course of a series of centuries, the local name was extended to the whole continent, and are therefore historical analogy for the extension of the Old Semitic AFR. So when you say Ophir, or better yet, Ophir Ika, because ICA is a suffix, means something belonging to. Hit the hedges and the highways, tell our people it's time. Tell the bloggers and the journalists, they need to see it online. Hey, they need to see it in sports. Put it in a documentary. Stars using their platforms, you cannot say that you were not warned. Now the truth going worldwide.
Shalom to the 12 tribes of Israel and Gentiles across the globe. Last week I came to you and shared that Black people in America, you are the biblical Israelites. You are the chosen people. You are with whom the Bible speaks of. You are from the seed of Yehoshua HaMashiach. Now, as for Gentiles, there's going to be many of you that feel like you've been lied to and you've been deceived. The best thing to do is to accept it because it's prophecy. And that comes from Jeremiah 16:19, which says, O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of the affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. It's okay. You've been lied to. Accept it. Gentiles, once you've accepted that you've been lied to, there's only one thing left to do, and that's Matthew 10:38. And he that taketh not his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. As a Gentile, your cross to bear is that you are a Gentile, you are not an Israelite, you are to share who the biblical Israelites are. They are Black.
Transatlantic slave trade, Jews numbering to 40 million people with customs traditions doing circumcision on the 8th day were the same exact people brought to the Americas on the transatlantic slave trade. Now, if someone goes to Times Square in New York today, you'll see African Americans dressed in Israelite outfits and yelling at people saying, you're not the real Jews, we're the real Jews. And so most people saying, well, you guys are kooky, you just made this whole thing up, you made up a religion and an identity. Actually, no. Israel were brought from Africa to America.
Closing in, breaking news, Negroes are the Jews, we got souls to win, we see straight through them. They feel guilty about them slave ships, ain't no running from Jacob's trouble. You gotta face this, they scared of a Hebrew with the mind of the ancients. And they do commands, the ones dangerous, terror on their faces. The tribes is back, they can't hide the facts. Wait until they find out the Messiah black is deeper than skin color. What about the knowledge that they hid from us? They don't want you to know. You royal assume the role. Whole time, it's enough of us to crash the whole system. Days and all, we gon' build this up, but who gon' listen? No fear, affliction, turn my temple into Ophir. Pure gold, time moving fast, the end is so near. Contracts and endorsements, now you very rich. Take it all if you tell your people about their heritage. We in the Torah and the prophets, all of the testaments. Tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Second Exodus, prodigal sons, judgment, you can't hide when it comes. Scream and praise the most top of my thugs, vengeance and he is the prophetic. We live in the the scholars, who we were before the slave trade, the way they brought us here, we might be going back the same way.
All praise to the Most High, blessed to the chosen ones. Shalom, Yasharala. Recently, I've been going through struggles, micro struggles though. Going through struggles with the Most High is a lot different than going through struggles by yourself, because you already know that there's promises that were kept and that are still being kept over you. When I think about Joseph, when he was thrown into slavery, and because of his faith, he was able to come on top, or even the promises that were made over Abram and Sarah, when they were promised to have a child, Yah never falls void on his promises. And through the struggle is a test of your faith, and through the struggle is a test of who you are as an individual. One of the things I'm embracing in this time is struggle, because I know when I go through struggle, I'm about to go ahead and get to the.
I like what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Simply knowing who God is doesn't grant you access to His kingdom. You can know who.
Okay. Any comments on that? Yeah, if you want to check that out, there's the Jews leaders admit true Jews are black. Okay. So with that, I was gonna read out of Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26, but I'm gonna leave it up to y'all to do a little due diligence on it. For the people that don't know that, but you see a lot of people go into Deuteronomy 28 and reading the curses, but they also in Leviticus 26. So what I'm gonna do is read a little bit out of Leviticus 26. Everybody know about Deuteronomy 28. Okay, so let me get over to Leviticus 26, right? Okay, I'm gonna read some of it. It says, okay, verse 1: He shall make you no idols, nor graven images, neither rear up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your God. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. Verse 3: If ye walk in my statutes, keep my commandments, and do them, then will I give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit, and your threshing shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time, and ye shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land safely. And I will give peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land, and ye shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. For I will have respect unto you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you. And ye shall eat old store, and bring forth the old because of the new. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you, and I will walk among you, and I will be your God, and ye shall be my people. I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, and ye shall not be their bondmen. And I have broken the bands of your yoke and made you to go upright. So that's the blessings from being obedient. I'm gonna read a little bit of curses, same as in Deuteronomy 14 through 68. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhorred my judgments, so that ye will not do any of my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, burning, a gate that shall consume the eyes, and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth ye. And if ye will not yet for all these hearken unto me, then will I punish you 7 times more than your sins. So you see right here, it's the same thing that's in Deuteronomy. But I want to shine light on this verse I just read. 16 says, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and a burning of gate that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed, and ye shall sow your seed in vain, for enemies shall eat it. In 17, I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursue it. So he said, those that hate you gonna reign over you. So we see that Cain and his descendants hated hated Adam and his descendants. Esau hated the Israelites. So them two people got together. Both of them hate Adam's descendants. They came together and became Edom. There it is right there. Verse 17. And I will set my face against you, and you shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you, see that? It's Esau and Jacob. They that hate you, Esau and Japhet, and they that hate you shall reign over you. That's who reigning over us right now. And ye shall flee when none pursue you. But like I said, you can look at Deuteronomy 28, then go and read this. You'll see it's both of them parallel each other. Okay. Any
Brother
comments?
Leonard.
Okay.
And verse 16.
Yeah.
Where it says, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror. Is terror an angel?
No, that's the Israelites. That's the Edomites. They the ones bringing the terror. He's using them to bring the terror. It's the same thing in 2 Samuel when he says that if your children do right, then I'm gonna bless them. But if they don't, I'm gonna bring these people, these wicked people, and use them to judge you.
So what does it mean when it says and the burning agu? Agu, what is that?
That's just it's like what he done in Egypt whenever he killed the Egyptians and all their firstborn. It's like bringing stress on people and disease and consumption and that's how he do that.
Like a plague.
Right, exactly.
Okay, got it.
Like the jab.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, yeah, because I've been seeing terror, especially like was it in Jasher when they were talking about terror, and I didn't know if that was, like a angel that was called terror. But anyway, okay.
It's angel behind it because we see in what I just read in Daniel that he said Gabriel told him that the prince of Persia was coming. That's the angel. He's over that region. And then he said after the prince of Persia come, then the prince of Greece gonna come. So it's an angel. Went back in Genesis chapter 11 when the earth was divided up. He divided the earth up by these angels. They got different regions they over. And the Lord of hosts, which is Michael, he received Zion in that whole region. So that's why when he went to Egypt and delivered us, the Yahweh sent him to Egypt. He delivered us, brought us back to the land where he had inherited. So that's where he rules at. And then, but you had other angels over other regions of the world. There was powers and principalities in high places.
Right.
Okay.
So that was the 200 angels?
Yeah. Well, it was only divided up by I think 70.
70.
That's why you had 70 languages.
Okay, right, okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so before we go, I was gonna show this, but I just tell you about it. I don't know if you can check it out, Google it. But they say that Kanye West is just launched himself to be president in 20. He's gonna run for president in 2024, and he asked Trump to be his vice president. Ain't that something?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I hope we out here.
Trump didn't like that.
Vice President.
I hope we out here for that album.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Ain't that something?
Man.
Now this is gonna be funny.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. You think they went crazy over this last little incident he did? They really gonna flip out on this. Ain't that something? So everybody good?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good.
Okay. Yeah, I see everybody on Tuesday for our advanced Bible study at 8 o'clock. Okay. Let me get this.
Absolutely. See you on Tuesday.
Yeah, I say shalom, shalom, everybody. And like I said, I'll see y'all on Tuesday at 8.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay.
Shalom.